Hard, heavy, and hair. Badass music for badass listeners. With Pariah Burke.
I had a very enjoyable conversation with LA Guns frontman Phil Lewis from his home in Las Vegas. After showing me around his house, Phil and I talked about the new LA Guns album, Checkered Past. Tracii Guns offered to him a 49% ownership in the LA Guns band name. His surprising views on the future of LA Guns recording, the mysterious up-and-coming painter Mason Storm, and Phil's work helping to posthumously finish Pete Way's final album.
Okay, Pariah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. All right. And you can see me all right?
Yep, you're framed great. I love your background. That's really cool.
Thank you very much. It just came from China a couple of days ago. I've been doing a lot of interviews, and I thought I'd have some fun with it.
There you go. Yeah. Are you, I know Ace collects Ouija boards. Are you really into Halloween themology?
Well, I'll show you. Let's have a look. I like collecting stuff. Like, can you see?
Yes.
My house is like a little bit like an antique shop. And I was sitting here and I was getting, it was such a distraction. People were talking about stuff behind me. And I ended up finding a generic backdrop that wouldn't be quite so distracting. But yeah, Ace's got a great collection.
That's really cool. Was that a Rembrandt on your wall?
No, oh my goodness, this is extraordinary. I'm glad you know. Okay. This is an original oil painting. It's not. It's a poster oil painting. It is not old. It's contemporary. It's painted by a guy called Mason Storm, who's an up-and-coming artist in London, and he paints in the style of Rembrandt, but he has like punk rock themes. Like this is Judas. This is called the Gift of Death. This is Judas selling out Jesus here.
Okay.
And this guy's on the right of Scott. And if you can see on the first officer, it says police. Obviously, it wouldn't have said police.
Can you raise the phone up just a little bit? I can't see that. Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Now we put these clues that make it contemporary, and it's just incredible. He's amazing artist.
And what was his name? Mason what?
Mason Storm.
I'm gonna have to look him up. I'm a big fan of Rembrandt, so I like that palette and style.
Oh, he's a character, let me tell you. He wears a wrestler's mask all the time, so nobody knows what he looks like. No, in every picture, he goes to every event, every opening, every gallery, everything. He wears this wrestler's mask, and he's sort of becoming this sort of superhero icon. Funny guy. Amazing work, and he's doing well. You know, stuff's really starting to sell. Like in the telephone number bracket, and he's just a cool, down-to-earth guy, and he's actually a kind of a fan of the band. Actually, he's a good friend of a guy that I was in a band called Girl in 1980, and I was the guitar player. Was very artistic. He came from an artistic background, and he is actually friends with Mason. And once I saw, Jerry started posting his stuff, it was great. I wanted to be friends with him, and he's a cool guy, and sends me out these great prints. But yeah, well noticed. And it is. You'd think it was a Rembrandt, but you have fun. Look him up because he's got all kinds of cool stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely will. Thank you for the recommendation.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Let me get an official intro to you. So Phil Lewis, lead singer of LA Guns. Thank you for joining me on the Hard, Heavy, and Hair Show. You're looking good.
Thank you. As are you, Pariah. Thank you. It's good to be on the Hard and Heavy Hair Show. I'm delighted.
Thank you. So I want to start out with, I spoke to Tracii in the spring, right after the announcement of the settlement of the LA Guns name, the out-of-court settlement of the lawsuit. And he told me he offered you as his, I forget exactly how he put it, his life partner in making all this great music. He said he offered you 49% ownership of the name. Did you take him up on that?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. And if it happens, great. I'm not going to push it. Yeah, we had this lawsuit which we settled out of court, and honestly, and so we were in sort of like legal mode, and Tracii just generously came up with that, and it wasn't my idea, and it's not like something I expect. I mean, I just feel that after all this stuff that he's been through over the name, I think he should just let the legal stuff cool down a bit, and it's only because that's all going on right now. I think we should come back to where it doesn't really make that much difference to me. It's just a legal title. I really don't care. It might be a useful legacy. I don't know. I'm not, I know my role in this, and I'm aware of our relationship and what's expected from both of us. And honestly, he changed my life for the better. He already did it like 35 years ago when he got his manager to call me in rainy London and come out to LA and changed my life forever. So I trust him. He may be a lot of things, but he's not a thief, and he's not a liar. So if things go in that direction, that'd be great. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the fucking record.
We are, and I wanted to ask, does having full rights to the name, did it make it easier to do Checkered Past with your new record? Did it just make it seem clearer?
Yeah, I mean, it was a horrible distraction having two bands with the same name. It makes it almost impossible. It's like quicksand. It had to be resolved, and we were on such a roll since the reunion that we had to spend money to straighten it out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wasn't going to get straightened out. And the other party weren't. They were sticking fast. They weren't going to change it. They weren't, as far as they were concerned. They were LA Guns, and it was tough shit. If we already had like 3 records since the reunion, it was spiteful, and it needed to be sorted out, and it cost a lot of money well spent, and it wasted a lot of money. They spent a lot of money defending it, and it would have just been so much better if they just made the difference clear. But at the end of the day, after everything's done, me and Tracii are LA Guns. That is something else.
Yep. So you and Tracii are LA Guns, and you now have a new album which is about to be released, Checkered Past, and you've been putting out some really great singles from it.
Yeah.
Tell me about Checkered Past.
Well, I mean, it's the third in a trilogy of post-reunion records, albums, or whatever you can call them now, collection of songs that we were contractually obligated to produce. and we saw no reason why a little thing like a world pandemic should stop us in pursuit of that. So we had to change the method of operation. The old way would have been getting together in a room and banging out ideas, tweaking choruses, adjusting tempos, and all the things, the organic things that you do in creating a record. And then, once the song is figured out, you'll play it countless times just to get a feel, so that by the time you're in the recording studio and the red light goes on, you're ready. You can do it in your sleep. You can do it on your head. This was completely different. This was like, it was all written. All the songs were written by the time I got them, like musically. I've never sung this record. It's amazing. It's the whole thing. It's like, that's not true. I have sung one of the songs, "Let You Down," live. We did a live stream, but all the like Cannonball and "Knock You Down," all of that, I've never done. I mean, I've sung them 100 times. I did it at home, and I'm not worried about it at all. But it's really strange. It's so ass backwards from the normal way of doing things. But anyway, it's a well-rounded record. It was a lot of fun to make. It was a great distraction, when being locked down, and not being able to go out, not being able to play, not being able to tour. Something we've been doing for decades, and then all of a sudden it stops, and you worry, and think, is it ever going to come back? And the only comfort, of course, was that it wasn't just us that was down. Everything was down. Every band was down. Everything was down. So there was small comfort, but having the record to work on was great therapy. Oh my God! And I had to hone my recording skills a bit, and file transfers, and there were a few more technical aspects to it. But the great thing about it, recording it at home, it's on a Dell laptop and a little Focusrite interface and a mid-range, cheapo Chinese mic. Nothing fancy at all. It did the job. It sounds great, and I don't know if I want to go in a studio again. I like doing it in my environment, in my own time, and so the manufacturing of it was a very different process. I don't mean like the manufacture, but the manifestation of it was very different from the traditional work, and I didn't hate it.
That's good. Yeah, it's interesting that you're enjoying the remote recording process. Do you think that might change how music is done in general for a lot of musicians?
Oh yeah, I mean, it to me is what all these people that have been working in offices for decades suddenly realize. They don't need to be there. They can do exactly the same job from their home, and quite often do a better job, because like a commute is such a grind. I've done it. It hasn't been like tour buses and jets my whole life. I've commuted, and it fucking sucks. And I don't blame anyone for wanting to work at home. So yeah, if I'm part of that revolution, then yeah, bring it on.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I mean, you're in LA, right?
I'm in a suburb of LA called Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
It's about the same thing,
Okay.
In a matter of a decade, they will be joined. It's inevitable. It's like Houston and Austin have become one city, and Vegas and LA will become one eventually. That might be a bit of an exaggeration. It's about a 4-hour drive. It's a 45-minute flight. So it's close. It's close enough for me to get into LA if I'm needed, and it's far enough out for me not to. I'm getting old. I don't like big cities. I like I like a bit of space. I like fresh air, and I don't like apartments. I don't want to live. I don't want to hear what's going on the other side of the wall. I don't want neighbors. I like having my own house, and moving to Vegas enabled me to do that. I could never do this.
All right. So given the new nature of recording and being able to record from anywhere and or being able to record from home and collaborate with people from anywhere, is there, in addition to LA Guns, are there any other projects you'd like to do or anything else you're working on with other musicians?
Yeah, I did a, do you know who Pete Way is?
Oh, yes.
Pete Way was the bass player in UFO. And as I mentioned, my first band, Girl, in 1980, we did several tours with UFO. He took us under their wing. And we did several English tours. We did some European dates. And it was a lot of fun. And they were great guys. They took really, really good care of us. We were heavily influenced by them. And we all loved Pete Way. He was just such a personality, such a character. He was just everything. He was handsome. He played bass beautifully. He was absolute rock star on stage. The nicest guy, down to earth guy you'd ever want to meet. Off stage, he had it all, absolutely everything. We're not talking about Pete Way personally, but it didn't end well for Pete. He got heavily distracted. He got very into drugs and lost his way. But while he passed away now. He died.
Yeah,
he wrote, working on a record with Mike Kling, who produced the early stuff that he did. And Slash was on it, and I think Nikki Sixx is on it. He got as many famous people as he could because he was just such an icon, and people loved him to play on this record. And unfortunately, he passed away before it finished. So I got a call from his widow, Jenny, in London, and I was invited to sing on a couple of tracks of the songs that will be coming out when it's done. And it's all Pete's music, but it just didn't have any vocals. So I had everything set up from the studio, from the recording, Checkered Past recording. So it was a breeze. It was 2 songs. I did it in a couple of days. It was a lot less complicated than working on our stuff because his stuff is already written. It's a different animal when you're handed a finished song as opposed to when you're immersed in creating something. So that was a pleasant. I don't know, like if you imagine the Checkered Past was a meal. The Pete 2-song project was a nice dessert. It was a nice sorbet. It was a nice way to get the intensity of Checkered Past out of my head and just do something light. It's all party stuff, let's have a drink, let's get some girls, let's go drive fast. It's Pete, it's fun.
Right on. And when is that coming out?
I don't know. I have no idea. I did my tracks and I sent them into Mike Kling, and Jenny called me back and she said that Mike wants to talk about it. Maybe you might want to make a couple of fixes. And I was like, okay. I mean, I'm available. I mean, I nailed it. I mean, it wasn't difficult to do. So I wasn't, and I gave him like several versions. So I was kind of surprised that he wanted to do fixes, but I was like, yeah, sure. And then, a couple of days later, she wrote, actually, he's listened to it, he's fine with it. And I was like, yeah, cool, I know what to do.
Do you have a favorite track on Checkered Past? Is there something that you really enjoyed singing, or you really liked something about it?
Did they send you the video for Cannonball?
I haven't seen the video, no, but I've heard the whole album.
Okay, sure. Well, it's a theme. It's a pirate theme. It's a high-speed, swashbuckling adventure. And I had a lot of fun with that. The imagery in it is very strong, and I took the lyrics and I made a little video of it, dressed up and in period costume, and acted a dandy. I couldn't help myself. So you got to check it out. That of course is I was really excited about. But I was very like Let You Down might be my favorite too, because that was the first song that we recorded in this method of isolation. And that was kind of like a proof of concept. When it turned out good, great, I was like so happy about it. It just meant that everything, the system that we had in place was going to work. So there was a joyful moment knowing that. Otherwise, it could have made it. I don't know. We might not have been able to make this record if all the pieces didn't fit. So that's good. I love the second song, Bad Luck Charm, because it's funny. It's nice to have a bit of humor mixed in with all the seriousness. Actually, it's all fun. A lot of it's funny. Cannonball's funny. Yeah, and I like the Living Right Now has a really great beat to it, great drive, kind of like an Iggy Pop, snotty, sort of Generation X vibe to it, that I like a lot. In fact, there's nothing on there that I don't like. It's one of those albums that, every track I'm enamored by, and, I say it for every record, but, I think this is the best we've done. I've got big expectations for this. We were doing good before the pandemic hit.
Yep.
Our record, our post-reunion records, Missing Piece and The Devil You Know, were really, really making a dent. And then we hit the pandemic, and it's nice that we're going to be coming out of it. We haven't done any shows yet. So the first shows we're going to be doing are when the album drops, November 12th. And then, we're back in the saddle and just want to pick it up where we left off.
Great. And I've seen you play. I saw you when you were touring The Devil You Know. And you guys just really seem to have a lot of fun playing that, especially you come out in the devil mask, and everything.
Yes, that's me. I can't help myself. I've got like a thespian bug in me, which is why I want you to, as soon as we've finished here, look up the video for Cannonball. Just go on YouTube, and it'll crack you up. If you think the devil was funny, you wait till you see this character.
Right on. I will. And I'm going to actually, I'll link to that from the show notes on Pariah Rocks for this interview, pariahrocks.com.
Cool.
Great. That's great. Thanks very much. And I appreciate your time.
I appreciate your support and interest in this, and come and see us live.
Oh, definitely. Thanks a lot, Phil. It was good meeting you.
You're welcome. Yes, we'll take care of you. Thanks, Pariah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Remember, to hear the music discussed in this interview, stream the on-demand Hard, Heavy, and Hair show at pariahrocks.com.
That's PARIAHROCKS pariahrocks.com.
Also hit pariahrocks.com to stream or listen on a radio station near you. The regular 2-hour Hard, Heavy, and Hair show with me, Pariah Burke. Hard, Heavy, and Hair is your weekly dose of hard rock, heavy metal, and hair bands from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 20-teens, and today, including the latest new releases, your old favorites, and deep cuts and rare hair, along with rock news and trivia.